Hey everyone, this is Rich, Plant-Based Coaches Podcast. I'm joined here today with my friend Dr. Suzanne Foxx, and we're honored to have once again Meg Morris because she didn't finish her story last time. She told us about her transition with her family, and I'm really curious to hear about that. So Meg, to
Yes.
start out with, I'd love to hear how you transitioned your family because I'm sure they were all eating the standard American diet, and I'd love to hear the process.
Yeah, for sure. They were all eating the standard American diet. And once I decided I was going to do this, and after, as you know, I started and it was going really, really well to my surprise because I was a skeptic. I really honestly thought these people it was just another fad diet. And I was like everyone, where am I going to get my protein? I had all those questions that everyone always has. And I genuinely was worried about my health by starting this process. But what happened was my family saw, strangely, how it was affecting me positively every week. And so when I started it in July, my birthday's in August. And by then I was feeling so good that I said for my birthday, I don't want any birthday presents. I want your time. I want us all to sit down on the couch and I want you guys to watch this movie called The Game Changers. And so they sat down with me and they watched it and they had an open mind. I was very lucky. And it really resonated with them. And they said, wow. And so that started their journey. And then for every holiday, Labor Day, anything that was a holiday, I would say, hey guys. And I would say, would you watch this movie? Or can you watch Dr. Eshelson, his TED Talk? It's wonderful. And so little by little, I would give them this information and they would start following it. And they said, yeah, that's a great idea. So and they used transition foods to come into this space. And that was fine. But the more they did it, the more they enjoyed. It's not so much giving up food. And that was always my fear my whole life. Like,
Yep.
I can't go without food, right?
Same here. Yeah. I love food.
So of course we all do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was like, it was very hard for them at first, but it was more about not giving up, but adding things into the diet, right? Adding more delicious fruits and vegetables and different types of recipes. Like we have a beautiful chili recipe they all love. And it really came down to that, is adding all these delicious things. We do a baked potato bar. I do make a cheese sauce that is not dairy based, and it's wonderful. And they enjoyed it and they saw improvements in their health. My youngest son was a college student when he started this way of life. And he got an Instapot and an air fryer. Right? Right? Yeah, it was. And he ended up getting an Instapot and an air fryer. And on Sundays, he would make a big batch of chili and he would make potatoes almost every day in the air fryer. He would cut them up or he would literally shred them with, a grater and make hash browns every morning. He also would make tofu eggs and he would make a tofu salad bowl for lunches. So he had this whole system down pat. And he looked great, but he ended up losing, I think, like 20 or 25 pounds by following this way of eating.
Oh, yeah.
And I love that. He really dived into it because at his age, that's very rare for them to take it so serious.
Yeah.
Right. Because for myself, when you have a health crisis and you have high blood pressure or anything else that's going on, and you get to be my age, you start thinking about your own mortality. But when you're 20 years old, you're not thinking, you're thinking you're invincible, that you're going to live forever.
Exactly.
For sure.
And I love that you started with the movie Game Changers because of your kids' ages. I think that was the perfect movie to start with. Just because, people want to build more muscle and, look good. And here as vegans, proving that you can build muscle. And I think that was a great choice.
It was.
So,
It is, and it's really a matter of deprogramming us because we are so obsessed with protein and where to get protein. And really, like my son said something so funny the other day, my older son, and he said, plants, OP, the original protein, right?
There you go.
Yep, exactly. So did your son share his food with his college roommates and his friends to get them on board?
He did. He is by far the best cook in our family. He is wonderful. And all of his friends would love it. He told me one of his dorm mates, one of his suite mates was like, oh, that smells so good. What are you cooking? And he said, oh, I've got some chili and tofu going. And he says, I wouldn't mind sampling that. So he let him and he loved it. And his other friends, when he was home for the summer, they know that he eats plants, that he's plant-based, and that he's vegan. And they were going on a camping trip. And I was a little worried for him that he wasn't going to be able to enjoy food and whatnot. Boy, did they surprise him and myself. They said, hey, we'll eat what you're going to eat. And they did have some processed burgers, but they had, they were vegan, obviously. But they got all sorts of things that were plant-based food. And I mean,
so the whole camping trip, trip decided, wow.
Oh, I love that.
Wow. That's amazing. Wow.
It was so cool. I said, you guys, and to them, they said, oh, it's no big deal. Yeah, this is great because they're seeing his example and how healthy he is and how great he feels, right?
Yeah, exactly. He's a great role model, as you are as well.
Oh, yeah. And my older son too, who's in San Diego, he lives this life and he loves it. He eats pretty simple and plain. He's not so much a cook, but as you guys know, it's wonderful to have great recipes, but you get to a point where you don't chase recipes.
Yeah.
Like you really are just, you're enjoying the food. You actually have a more sophisticated palate because your taste buds have woken up. Your tongue is not being annihilated with oils and salts and sugar that's numbing it. Now we can actually taste the food again, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm curious, since we just had the Thanksgiving holiday, what was your Thanksgiving holiday like now? Did you have family members who weren't compliant, or did you have to cater to them at all?
No, thankfully, no. I'm here in Oregon, and I don't have any relatives immediately around me. They're all out of state. And my oldest sister is vegan. She lives in Taiwan, though.
Okay.
And my another sister is also vegan, but she lives in New York City. So, yeah. But we had a great holiday. I mean, Thanksgiving really is a vegan holiday, minus the turkey.
I agree.
It is. I agree. Yeah. The sides are what makes the holiday, really. And nobody likes the turkey. I don't know why they insist on making the turkey. Everybody complains about it. It's just horrible. Why do this to these poor birds when it's completely unnecessary?
Yeah. It was funny. I was at the gym the other day, and this guy knew I was vegan, and he says, "Well, what kind of food do you like on Thanksgiving if you don't like turkey?" And I named him about 50 different foods. Sweet potatoes, pumpkin pie, all these things. And he gave us some thought. And he said, "You're right. It's only the turkey, that makes it not vegan."
Yep.
100%. 100%. Yeah, last year we had a lasagna. I did the Jane and Ann Eshelstyn's lasagna. It was fantastic. This year I made a veggie loaf, and it was so delicious. And my son made mushroom gravy and mashed potatoes, and my other son did the stuffing. It was wonderful. And we did some Brussels sprouts, oh my gosh, with balsamic and Dijon. So good I love California balsamic, which I have on almost all my salads. And we did it with a Dijon and the pomegranate. They have a pomegranate balsamic that's really good.
I've had that.
Oh, you like that one?
Yeah, is that from California balsamic, or that's where I got mine in
Yes,
California?
it's from.
Yeah, that's my favorite one actually.
Yeah, that one's my favorite one too. My husband loves the hickory smoke one. They're all
Yeah.
good.
They're all, yeah, they are. They are.
Yeah.
So,
But we
but
did it in the air fryer, the Brussels sprouts, and they were like candy. They were so delicious.
I gotta try that. Gave me some ideas. So I'd like to hear about your husband's transition too, because you were talking about your sons. Was that difficult for him?
I thought it would be really hard for him, but it's proven not to be so much. And his was more gradual. So I just said, I love you guys. And because I love you, I'm not going to prepare animal products. And they were fine with that. My husband was fine with that. And outside of our home, I didn't really ask him what he was doing, what he was doing
Yeah.
for lunch and for those things. But gradually, I would say over a 6-month period of time, he cut out all animal products. And I love it. He had to go out to dinner, I think a couple weeks ago, work dinner. And he sent me the restaurant. He said, "Hey, could you look over this menu and can we talk about what I can have?" And they had it was a fish restaurant, that's really challenging. And yeah, but he found this delicious, like a kung pao dish. I don't know why they were doing this at a fish restaurant that was made out of cauliflower. And he said it was amazing. He said it was so good. And they had a beautiful salad and lots of different vegetables. And you guys know when you go out for a salad, it's a treat to have someone else who's cut up all these different vegetables. And a lot of times you're experiencing a few new ones that are added in.
Exactly.
Yeah, but he had a great time, and people at his work asked him about his diet, and a gentleman who was there who maybe could stand to maybe do incorporate a few more vegetables in his diet was asking him. But my husband never had any weight to lose, but as you guys know, losing weight's a side effect. It's really about health. And about bringing, I always was focused on my weight, but what I realize now when I pull the lens back is I've got my health back.
Yeah, it's a health optimization diet. It's a health optimization diet. That's what it is.
That's what it is. And
what's going on there, Rich? Is he giving you a hard time there?
Yeah, he is.
Puppies. Oh my gosh, puppies.
Trying to pull him on the camera.
Puppy love. But my husband always had been we had gone to the gym together. We had always been pretty active, even though I would gain and lose, a lot of weight. We always were pretty active, and he's always lifted weights most of his adult life. So it's really impressive to me that he could understand that this is really all about health and health benefits. And he still has great muscle tone. He, like last night for his dinner, he had leftover Thanksgiving. He had mashed potatoes, stuffing, the mushroom gravy, corn.
So delicious.
And Brussels sprouts, just deliciousness, right?
The part that I notice so much is, Rich and I, and probably you too, we go to the gym a lot. And in there, you just see so many overweight people that are working so hard. And they're getting results, yes, but they're never, ever going to get the results like we've gotten because it's more diet than it is gym. And they just don't realize that. I mean, you're going to grow your muscles and you're going to, tone everything up, but you cannot get that fat off eating the standard American diet. You're just not going to or change your numbers, change your cholesterol and your blood pressure and all that. You just can't do it.
And I feel bad for some of these people I see. I see a few of these guys who are actually heavy. I mean, they're putting on muscle. They look like sumo wrestlers or something, but they're so heavy they're not going to be healthy. And I think myself, I wouldn't want to be that way.
No, it's so hard. And you see, like I just, when I go there, my heart just is like, oh my goodness, these people are working so hard at this. And then they're going to go, stop and get a cheeseburger afterwards and wreck the whole thing, And
besides that, they're all over ingesting protein powders. I see it all the time.
Oh my gosh. what do they say? You take protein powders to lose weight. You take protein powders to gain weight. What is it?
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't work. Stop with the protein powders. Stop eating that crap.
Yep, exactly.
Maybe we should make a campaign about that. Like, I eat between 40 and 60 grams of protein, and we just got to show our muscles. Just 40 to 60 grams. What do you know? This happened. Maybe we should make some videos like that.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're not getting the
nobody's-
message. Yeah, it seems like they're not getting the message from what I see. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Meg, I was going to say, how many days a week do you work out? Maybe it varies, I'm sure, with your schedule.
It varies, but usually about 5 days a week. But I always, days where I don't lift, I always get 10,000 steps in. That's my goal every day.
Oh, the same goal.
Yeah, but
I have the same goal. We're all on the same.
I wear my Apple Watch and it reminds me to stand every hour.
I've got a Fitbit.
Yeah.
Yeah, my Apple Watch has been a game changer though, because I would sit all day, at work, and just have that reminder every hour. It's important.
Yeah, get up and move around.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And if I hit 9 o'clock at night, and I haven't gotten my steps in, I'll just walk around the kitchen dining room just to wind it down, just finish it up.
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I've got a treadmill, so I will hop on there.
Good job.
I wish I had
but the thing is that the misconception, because I was one of those people at the gym who, I went every day and I documented it on Facebook for a year. In 2017, I went every single morning at 5 a.m. to the gym. And that year, I think I lost 5 pounds.
My goodness. Oh my goodness. There he is.
Yeah, this guy,
baby.
I'm holding up because he also helps me get a lot of exercise in. He wants to walk a lot. So
the 2017, you documented it and you lost 5 pounds in 1 year. I have patients that this lady, I feel so bad. She gets up at 4 o'clock in the morning, works out religiously from 4:30 to 5:30, 5 days a week, and has gotten nowhere. Nowhere. Cholesterol's still high, hypertension's still there, still overweight, and significantly so. It is so. I just want to hey, you don't have to work this hard if you just eat some sweet potatoes and broccoli.
Exactly.
I just want to say it, just stop with the protein. Just stop. It's not working, Yeah,
Suzanne, I don't know. But you go ahead first, Meg.
I was going to say, I am living proof. I am living proof of that. I was working out so much. And so what I would do is I'd blame it on genetics. Oh, I'm just predisposed. I can't lose weight. This is just the way it is. And I did it for a year. And I'm not even kidding you. Thanksgiving, Christmas, every single day for a year. And it's like, if people realize you don't have to work this hard, and to lose the 65 pounds that I've lost through menopause. Okay. So, people say you can't lose weight over 50 years of age. Hello. And you have to work out hours. Now, I enjoy working out. I think I'm a lot like you guys, where it's a mental health release. It's a great cardiovascular. It's great for strength. We don't want to, we want to be able to walk and squat for the rest of our life. And so we need good core strength, right? And once you reach the age of 50, you start losing 1% of muscle mass a year. And
no, that's a myth. That's a myth. Just you guys know, that is a myth. That is typical. But you will gain muscle every single time you go to the gym and you work out. The reason people say you're losing muscle is because nobody's doing anything. They're not going to the gym. You're not going to lose your muscle. Just so you guys know, that is a myth. You will not lose your muscle. You got to use it or lose it. Most people are just sitting watching TV. That's why they say that. It's not true.
Yeah.
Just want that to be clear.
Yeah. And that is what I'm trying to do, is not lose any muscle. That's why it's even more important to lift, the older we get.
Yeah.
Yeah, it protects your bones too, so you don't get osteoporosis too.
Yeah, no osteoporosis. Osteoporosis is not caused by lack of calcium. That is the crystal clear. It is caused by lack of weight-bearing exercise and lack of use of your muscles. That is just crystal clear.
I gotta laugh at something my dad said a few years
I
ago.
love that.
Because he found out he had osteoporosis. And he said, oh, it's because he didn't drink milk as a kid.
No.
No, it's
Definitely not it.
because of that.
Definitely not it. Definitely not it. I mean, I'm like
Wow.
living proof of that. Both of my parents have osteoporosis. And when I stand on that one scale, that scale that tells you all your parameters, my bone health, my bone weight is on the high end, all the way up there. I haven't eaten animals in 27 years. I haven't eaten dairy and eggs in 12 years. No, that is not it. That is not
exactly.
it. Just go to the gym, lift some weights, and you don't have to worry. Eat your greens.
Yep.
Broccoli. What do they say? Sesame
Wow.
seeds are the highest amount of calcium you can get. You know.
Yep.
They even have these delicious sesame
That's fantastic.
candies. Yeah, they have these little sesame candies that are available at every Asian grocery store. They're like made of sesame seeds. They're probably sugar and probably garbage, but they're sesame seeds. If you're worried about calcium, that's where you get them.
Yeah, I love sesame seeds.
I did not know that. Wow.
That's delicious. And sesame seeds have the highest amount of calcium of any of the foods that people eat. Yeah.
For me, my favorite is pumpkin seeds.
Pumpkin seeds. Yeah, those are good too.
Yeah.
I love them on a salad. Pumpkin seeds on a salad. So good.
Definitely. Meg, now that you lost the weight, what are your future goals?
My future goals is I want to become a health coach, and I want to help people. I want to help people and guide them that this is pretty easy. You know, it's simple. And once you really give it a chance, I just feel so free on the other side of this. So I really would like to help people, and especially women who maybe are going through the change, and just help guide them that this will free them of a lot of the symptoms, the brain fog, hot flashes, anxiety. All of those things get tampered down.
All that stuff is just caused by eating animal products, sugar, oil, and not getting any sleep, and all the stress and anxiety. I don't know. I don't know. Like it couldn't be any clearer. You know, it's awful that stuff is really caused by what they're eating, and they just don't even realize it.
Yeah, and I have to say, Meg, why you'd make a great coach is because you've been there. And that's why I think my story resonates with people, who are trying to lose weight, because people can, talk the talk, but if they haven't been in your shoes, or you haven't been in their shoes, they're not going to listen.
No, generally not.
Yeah. And I had all of those fears that they have, all of those. I've tried everything.
Yeah.
I've been in that situation of feeling desperate and hopeless and confused, because the information is so confusing. And where do you turn? Who knows this information? It's really baffling to me. And it's like Suzanne and both of you were saying, Rich, it's so much simpler, this way of life. It's really easy. Once you just start and give it a chance, the reward, I wouldn't do this if it was hard. I'm a lazy person. I just wouldn't do
know
this.
What you mean. Yeah.
But people don't know until they're on the other side, until they experience the health benefits and the healing and feeling better. I mean,
I always like to say what Dr. Greger always says. He says, long distance marathon runners have the same blood work as couch surfing vegans.
Yes, I've heard that. I love that too.
Yes. Yeah. It's true. And so it's true. And I did, a lot of running in my fat days. I did a ton of running, and I can only imagine. I'm so lucky that I didn't have any injuries, right? Because Suzanne, how much is that on your knees when you're overweight? How much pressure is that on your knees?
The real problem, honestly, with runners and their knees is that their hips aren't strong enough. I mean, that's what it kind of comes down to. Their hips aren't strong enough and their hamstrings aren't flexible enough. Otherwise, unless you're over 300 pounds, your knees are built to handle that. But the real problem is lack of strength in their hips. That's why they have knee problems.
Yeah, I got to reiterate that, Suzanne, because that's what happened to me when I was doing all those half marathons. My hips and my hamstrings are very tight too, and it caused problems.
Yep.
So it's very,
Yeah. Well, I mean, I see it every day. So, and everybody always tries to blame their overweight. They're like, oh, I'm so ashamed. My back hurts because my back, I'm so overweight. I'm like, no, your back hurts because of other reasons. But, if you want to lose weight, that's great. But if your feet and your back hurt, it's not because you're overweight. If your knees hurt, it might be because you're overweight, because knees don't like that very much. But everything else is pretty much the same, whether you're thin or overweight, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. But yeah, for me, I feel like I'm just getting started. This is just gets better and better.
Yeah.
I went into the grocery store not long ago, and I think I told you guys this story, but I had a gal who's a friend. I hadn't seen her in a few years.
Yeah.
And she came up to me and she got, a little bit close into my personal space, and she's squinting her eyes and looking at me. And she says, what is your skincare routine? And I told her, I said, I kind of giggled, and she complimented me, and I thanked her. And I said, I just eat probably a pound of vegetables a day. I drink a lot of water, and my skin, it's a beta carotene glow, right?
Yeah, I have that too. Yeah.
Yeah, I was at the hairdresser the other day. And they were doing something with and she did the same thing. She's like, are you sure you're not using, what is this? You don't have any pores. Where are your pores? It's the same thing. You can't make that on the outside. You can only make that from the inside out,
I can't think of the last time I got a pimple, because I used to get them as an adult too, every now and then, but it's been years.
I would say that's
my skin used to be
a dairy
itchy.
and egg problem. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was the other thing too. I want to be a health coach because I honestly thought there's no way I could give up dairy or cheese. I could kind of take or leave meat. Yeah. Once I started understanding more things about the impact, the animals, when my cognitive dissonance went away and everything started falling into place. But the dairy in the beginning, I was really afraid, and I just didn't think I could go through a day without cheese. And when I made the decision and I surrendered and I raised the white flag and I said, okay, Dr. McDougall and your starch solution program, let's see what this is about. And when I went a week without it, it felt strange, but I didn't feel bad. And then it just got better and better. And we talked about it before, the casein in cheese.
Very addictive.
There's very addictive, and the link to cancer. And all of those things, it made a lot of sense once it was out of my system, and I felt great. I didn't have a lot of nasal congestion in the past. All of that went away. My skin cleared up. It wasn't itchy or irritated anymore. The inflammation just calms down, right?
Exactly. Well, I have a friend. Yeah. She gave up dairy, and her asthma got better. So I know what a problem dairy can be, just from other people's stories alone.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where I'd love to go. I'd love to just help other people. I see the change in my family. I try to inspire other people, just if they even try to have a few more plant-based meals, right?
Yeah, that leads to my other question I was going to ask before. I typically wear a vegan or plant-based shirt to the gym just to advertise, because I want people to be curious. Do you ever advise others, do they know you're plant-based, or do you offer advice along the way? Because sometimes at the gym, they'll ask me what I eat, or just out of curiosity. And I'm just wondering, do people approach you?
Yeah, people have asked me through social media what I'm doing. And friends of mine have asked me. I walk a lot in my neighborhood, so a lot of my neighbors have asked. And I share the information with them. They're curious. They want to know what I've done to have all these changes, because usually the older we get, the more decrepit, right? And it's almost like I'm reversing that.
Yeah, exactly. You are. Yeah.
And, I'm proud to to age, because a lot of people don't have that privilege of getting older. But they do ask me, and I've had people along the way. I have a friend who said I inspired her because one of my favorite potatoes is the Japanese sweet potato. And aren't they great? And so she's incorporating more of those into her diet. And so it's wonderful to hear that from my friends. And a lot of the people who are asking, they do have health problems. They have high blood pressure. They have high cholesterol. And so they are asking because they're concerned about their health.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So we'll see. But the fact that all three of my husband and my boys.
That's huge.
That really is.
Yeah. And I gave the information in little doses, and I tried to curb my enthusiasm because I'm very enthusiastic about it. But I was unable
to curb my enthusiasm. Therefore, nobody recruits in my own family. Yeah, I have no recruits in my own family. They're just not. I don't know what it is.
Never say never, because you lead by example and they see what you're doing.
It's true.
Yeah.
And sometimes people, not your family, but people can be angry or agitated by what you're doing. And I think that's just the natural curiosity. It's a defense mechanism because it's uncomfortable if someone is doing something different than you know, the standard American diet is very strong, right? It's very strong, and people want everyone to do the same thing and keep those same traditions. But if you can explain to people that, you know, heart disease probably doesn't run in their family, it runs in their recipes, right? It runs into what their habits are.
Yeah.
And you can help them break those habits.
Yeah. For me, I've always been open about how I ate. And I think that's helped me because nobody expects me to eat the standard American diet. Everybody knows my story. So, they know enough not even to offer me the food.
Well, you've recruited your mom. You got your mom going pretty good. Yeah. So that's good. That's huge. That's a big win. Yeah. He's got his mom going. Yeah.
I wish I could get my dad on board. They don't live together. They're divorced, but he has what's called giant cell arteritis. I don't know if you heard of that. It's inflammation of the arteries. And he has to do monthly infusions. He's had prednisone, and it's about inflammation. So what could help lower his inflammation?
I wonder what could do it. I wonder what could help lower inflammation.
And I even got him on some Basmeric. Suzanne, you remember that Basmeric?
Yep, I remember that. Yep.
And he talked to his doctor. Of course, his doctor, wants him to be on all these meds, and she says, no, that's not going to work with the meds. And so he ended up giving that to charity or something. So
he didn't even take it, didn't even try. Yeah, that's why I know my parents wouldn't even try. Yeah.
Yeah.
So suspicious. They'll put all kinds of junk in their bodies, but they won't take one supplement made by a vegan doctor who's doing miracles, and they're like, nope.
That's what drives you crazy. He's on like 10 different meds, all these chemicals going inside him. And I'm the opposite way. I don't even want to take a Tylenol. Yeah.
Now that I think about it, I set up my husband's medicine for him every week. I could just throw a Bosmeric right in there and he probably wouldn't even notice.
That's awesome. Yeah, I don't know what I would have done if my family hadn't been on board, to be honest with you. It would be tough.
So you're very lucky that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, results not typical, Meg. You're doing a great job.
And you hear it all the time.
You guys, I am realizing that now.
Yeah.
On Chef AJ's show, you hear it all the time. Guests say that their wife or husband, they're not fully on board, or their kids, and they deal with it. But you really have a good situation there that they're on board.
Very lucky.
I'm very, very lucky. Hey, speaking of Chef AJ, our dessert I made her, it's called Snickers frozen pie in her book, her recipe book. It's literally made out of, it's so delicious. Tofu. It's definitely rich. It's not something I would have it's like for a special occasion.
It was Thanksgiving. Yeah. It was Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
But it literally tasted so good. It had tofu and dates and some nut butter and some chocolate vegan chips for the topping, and it was amazing. I mean, it was so rich. It was crazy.
Wow. I finally found a good.
Decadent.
I finally found a good pumpkin pie recipe. I was so happy because I've spent the last 12 years searching for a good pumpkin pie recipe. So that was amazing.
Oh, I'll have to get that from you for Christmas. I'll have to get that from you.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. It's like 2 cans of pumpkin, 1 can of full fat coconut milk, which is not super healthy. You put 1/3 of a cup of cornstarch in there. And then I know this is not super healthy. You got to put like 1/2 cup of brown sugar and a pinch of salt and some vanilla. Stir it. There you go. Make it 350. There you go. That's it.
Yeah. I had to find a local bakery that made vegan pies because I was delivering, my typical Thanksgiving donations.
Yes.
So I also every year end up taking one for myself because I figure it's my one vegan treat during Thanksgiving.
Yes. Well, it's Thanksgiving. It's a special occasion. It's not an everyday food.
So pumpkin pie really is my favorite.
Yeah. It's my favorite too, which is why I was like, every year I'm like bummed. I keep trying recipe after recipe and I'm just like, another one for the trash can. This is horrible. I'm very picky about it. I want it to be like perfect. So that thing worked out.
Right.
Excellent. Right. I couldn't believe how good it was. I was like, wow. I tweaked it a little bit to make it even better than the original recipe. So, it works even better. So good.
That sounds
Meg,
Rich, what? Oh, sorry. Go.
Yeah, I was going
to ask you more about that. I love that you donate to food bank for people who are vegan, which I think is so important because that's probably a group that just gets lost and doesn't get.
It is. That's exactly what these food pantries told me, that they actually have clients asking for plant-based options and they have to turn them away at times. And, it's just awesome to be able to help them just in a small way. I mean, I know it's only one meal a year, but maybe they'll learn something or realize how good this food tastes and keep making those requests for other days of the year. So that's why I do it. And I also work for a community college.
I love that.
My day job is webmaster at community college, and there's a lot of needy people at the college, and there's vegan students as well, a few of them. So I asked the person who does the food pantry to locate some vegan students, and I also donate to the students as well.
Nice job, Rich. That's nice.
That's excellent. Wow.
Yeah, because the reason it started is because you hear donate money toward Thanksgiving or donate a turkey or something, and as a vegan, there's no way I'm going to ever donate turkey. So this is my way of doing it.
It's a good job.
That's awesome.
So Meg, my question was, what is your one favorite food? What is your one go-to food that you can't live without now that you're, could be something you discovered after you went plant-based, or what is that one thing that you just absolutely love?
This is probably
so many good foods. Yeah.
There's so many good foods that I love. I guess I would say tofu.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
I got a confession, you guys. I never had eaten tofu before I went plant-based.
Oh, I didn't either.
Yeah, I didn't either. Yeah. I was vegan for years before I even tried it. Now I like it.
Really?
So, yeah. Vegan for years without trying it.
Suzanne, what's your favorite way to prepare it?
I like to make tofu scramble, just like with the black salt to make it look like, turmeric and black salt, make it taste like scrambled eggs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my favorite way too.
You like that? I love that.
Yeah, what's your favorite way, Meg, with tofu to prepare it?
I love the vegan scramble. It's funny because I'll make huge batches of it. I followed, and now I kind of ad lib it, but I started with, you guys know Well Your World channel? Have you ever watched Well Your World?
No.
Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm blanking on the person's name. He's wonderful, but he has a tofu scramble bake recipe. So it's an oven, and I literally will do batches. So I'll do like 2 blocks of tofu and do just like you guys are saying with I'll do the cumin. I'll do black cumin in it as well, because that gives it kind of a peppery taste.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I'll put the turmeric in it, and I do, onion powder and garlic powder. But I'll also, if I have time, I'll cut up bell peppers, like red ones, and some onions as well. And I'll just mix it all together. And I throw in a little bit of nutritional yeast too.
Oh,
And then
wow.
I put it on a baking sheet and I put it in the oven for about 20 minutes. And that way we have so much scramble so we can, use it throughout the week. And yeah, I love it.
Yes.
But I also love tofu in the air fryer. And I'll put some of Anne and Jane, they have a teriyaki. It's a very low sodium teriyaki sauce. They have lots of sauces, but
that sounds good.
Yeah, I'll mix the tofu in it and then I'll put it in and it just gets a little bit crispy and it's so delicious. And a lot of times I'll throw it in a salad. So good.
Wow, that sounds like a really good one. Do you put cornstarch on it at all before you put it in?
No, sometimes I'll just do it bare just with the teriyaki sauce. But
Okay.
a lot of times my son, he'll shake it with nutritional yeast.
Even better.
And I mean, he's the best. My husband says, when he eats tofu out, when he goes out and has a tofu dish,
it's not nearly as good as the stuff you make.
You and Grant make the best tofu. Yeah. So it's really delicious. So, and sometimes we'll crumble it and depending on how we season it, we'll use it for tacos. So sometimes and do it in a pan and it's delicious.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I mentioned this to Suzanne before, but I don't think I mentioned it to you, Meg. Have you ever heard of tofu? It's pumpkin seed tofu. Tofu is called PUMFU.
No.
And it's really good. I enjoy it. I buy a package once in a while. They sell it at natural foods places.
Wow.
Yeah, if you look for it.
Really?
It's high in fat like tofu is. I mean, they're both high fat foods, but so I just have a little bit of that, and I love it. So you might want to seek that out sometime. It's very similar to tofu. Neither one really have a taste that kind of take on the taste of the spices. And
I'll have to try that. I've tried the chickpea tofu.
Is it good?
Tried that. I gotta look for that.
It's really good.
Have you guys heard of Broccoli Mom? Have you guys heard of Broccoli Mom?
Yes, I love her.
Creator Broccoli Mom on TikTok and YouTube. Yeah, she uses tofu in everything. She's always breaking blocks of tofu and making them into all kinds of stuff. Chickpeas, tofu, bananas. She's got that powdered peanut butters. Like every recipe she has, those are the 4 big ones.
Oh, really?
We do a lot of that, the PB2 peanut butter powder for doing like Thai dishes and peanut sauces and stuff like that. But yeah, I watch her. I'm a huge fan of her.
She's amazing. Yeah.
The things that she throws together are awesome. That's so funny. Yeah, I love beans, things that I didn't love before. I love broccoli. I eat broccoli every day. It's the first thing I eat with a little bit of balsamic on it. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. So Meg, as our final question, and then we'll talk afterwards. My question is, what is the most influential plant-based doctor? Because I know you follow quite a few of them. For me, it's Dr. Furman who resonated the most. And I'm curious, is there one that resonated with you the most out of all?
That's a really tough question. Probably, I would say Dr. McDougall, but also Dr. Esselstyn.
Yeah.
They both resonate with me quite a bit.
I mean, there's no wrong answer, obviously, because they're all awesome doctors.
Yeah, I love them both. Dr. Esselstyn, I really love his approach. I love his books because he really explains how the coronary artery disease with the standard, the SAD diet, how we all have been lining our arteries for years. Yeah. And a lot of us, we don't know what's under the hood. So I just assumed with my weight, my inflammation, my high blood pressure, I just assumed that my arteries, based on his lectures and talks and everything, that my arteries were probably in pretty bad shape. And so that's a lot of the reason why I do a lot of snacking on greens and cruciferous with the balsamic, because that creates nitric oxide.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
And so creating that nitric oxide in your system is basically like the garbage man coming and cleansing your endothelial cells to calm them down so that you don't have an event that cuts the blood flow off in the arteries.
Exactly. Reminds me of what Dr. Greger says. Anybody over 12, they already have heart disease. Because they were eating the standard American diet.
Right. Yeah. And I love Dr. Greger. Oh my gosh. I have all of his books. He is amazing. And
he is. He has done so much for the community. Just all his, his free videos out there. Just awesome.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
I'm always referring to nutritionfacts.org all the time because he's just, I feel very grateful because of all these people who share their information, these doctors. I mean, really, they're amazing and they're selfless because they're not in it to make money. They're in it to educate.
Well, I don't know if you noticed, but there is no money in plant-based eating. There's only helping other people, which is good.
Exactly.
Yeah, I definitely, I'm like you guys. I'm very passionate, and I look forward to, I wish I lived closer to you. I wish I could run over some oatmeal cookies to you guys, that I make Chef AJ's banana oatmeal cookies.
As we said last time, if you're ever in the New York area, we should all meet up sometime.
We should, definitely.